Billy here. There's so much happening so fast, it's really hard to keep track of all of it. And I don't know where to start. I shouldn't be laughing. It's pretty serious. We know the Russians don't bluff. Putin says he's going to do something, he does it. He's been very, very restrained and merciful for a long time. And the idiots in the English, especially British and American military industrial complex, especially intelligence and media services and propaganda services and PR firms, well, they twist that as weakness. That's not a good idea. Sergei Lavrov, also known as the world's foremost statesman, an example of what a statesman should be, rather than ass clown like the European and American ones. When's the last time we had a statesman in a position like that? A Secretary of Foreign Affairs? I don't know. Not in my lifetime. Anyway, he said, basically he made several points at the UN, one of which is, well, one point he made was funny. I mean, they have such a wonderful sense of humor. I love that. A real sense of humor that just goes right over people's heads. They don't know what's going on. Zelensky said that if Russians don't like Ukraine, they could go to Russia. Well, in the Donbass, those are Russians, and the Donbass was given to the Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic in 1922 by Vladimir Lenin. They are Russians on their ancestral home ground. Should have went back to Russia when the Soviet Union broke up, the Russian people. But Ukraine has been trained and encouraged by the U.S. to go, my precious! They don't have any claim on Donbass. They don't have any claim on Crimea. But Zelensky says, well, they can go back to Russia. And Lavrov says, well, they are. They're joining Russia. They're going back to Russia. And they're taking their land with them. I thought that was funny. But he also said something that wasn't very funny. Actually, it should be quite shocking to the Western. Media is not going to report it. It should be quite shocking to Western citizens. You better listen. See, the United States is a party to this conflict by what they've done. They've given intel, radio, and satellite and radar locations. They're basically giving targeting information to the Ukrainians for targets actually inside of Russia, as well as in Donbass. And they're supplying them weapons that will reach those targets. Just because they don't have boots on the ground, well, they got boots on the ground too, but they're mercenaries, so that's okay. They got special forces guys there too. They got their troops on the ground. Just because they don't have divisions of them actually moving in American formation under direct American command in large numbers, doesn't mean they're not a party to conflict. You see, this is the foreign secretary. He doesn't go out and say ash clownish things on his own. He doesn't say ash clownish things anyway. Like I said, he's the world's premier statesman. He represents the Russian government. What he says isn't dictatorial decrees from Putin. They have meetings, and all the elected officials and appointed officials hammer this out and decide what to do and agree on it. And then they give him the info and he goes. And he said America is a party to this. The U.S. is a party to this conflict by doing these things. And then he said something striking. He said, the exact wording was, I'll paraphrase it because I don't want to look it up because it's late. Somebody please explain to me how this can't be thought of as the groundwork for the legal precedent of making a strike on America. on a strike on the U.S., striking the U.S. It's legal for them to do it because the U.S. is a party in the conflict. He reminded them of that. And yet they're still pushing. And our allies, Germany, especially Germany, are supposed to be our allies, right? Well, the U.S. totally screwed them. Had to have been the U.S. that did it. They blew the Nord Stream pipelines, both of them. And Poland, the officials that are appointed to your countries by the international techno-oligarchy, they're smug and gloating about it. Ha ha ha. What a bunch of idiots. You don't get any gas now. It's going to take years to fix this. They don't get any gas to Europe. They're going to buy it from the Americans, maybe. It's going to cost 6 times as much, and that's going to make gas skyrocket in America. So all these yokels are laughing in the United States even. They don't get Russian gas anymore. Well, they're going to sell them American gas, and the price is going to skyrocket. It's going to be so freaking high, nobody's going to be able to afford it. Congratulations, you screwed yourselves, or the deep state screwed you, but there's so many people that are so stupid. They're laughing about it and gloating. Unbelievable. You know, part of this just makes me sick seeing these people in charge and what they're doing. They've introduced extreme hardship this winter in all of Europe, especially Germany. They're dependent on Russian gas. Well, we gotta stop them people from being dependent on the Ruskies. Even the Soviets supplied a lot of fuel and gas to Europe, and they always fulfill their contracts. They never use it for political football. Never. Who does that? The U.S. does. Soviet Union never did, but we're assuming that Russia will. That's what keeps the American military industrial complex going. We have to scare the Europeans. Don't you do business with Russia, because they want all that money. And they want to sell them weapons because Russia's going to attack them. It took 8 years of genocide in the Donbass to get Russia to attack Ukraine. It's all about money. These people are insane. They're idiots, and they don't care about you. They're going to screw you just like they screwed the Europeans. This is the oligarchs. This is the international cult of technocratic transhumanist oligarchs. And they think a lot of you need to be done away with anyway. They've said it in their books. Europe now, America, maybe simultaneously. It's all going to wind down. It's going to be awful this winter. Looks like. Show me I'm wrong. I included a link for Gonzalo Lira, who did a really good article on this. And he's done a lot of great work. I'll tell you my Gonzalo story. I think I've said it before, because I knew this guy from his Coach Red Pills days. I followed him and watched quite a few hours of his video, not because I need a life coach or I'm what's that men going their own way type of thing. That was kind of the shape that it took, in my opinion. That's what I saw him doing, his advice about women and everything. I wasn't really interested in that. I was interested in how he had 30,000 freaking subscribers on Patreon. What are people interested in? What makes this happen? And I never was really impressed by the guy. He's very intelligent, but he's just a moke as far as or he was. I thought of him as a very vulgar, lowbrow version of Jordan Peterson, the great equivocator, only he was actually stand for something, unlike Jordan Peterson. Or you could think of him as a Joe Rogan, orally a lot more Tony. and less vulgar. You got your range there anyway. But anyway, I stopped watching him about a year ago, because I didn't think I could learn anything from him as far as how to make videos and what people like. It's interesting though. And I was in Russia after the war started, and I thought, so I'm writing articles and trying to wage information war to get the truth to people, because Americans and Europeans are being lied to. I wanted to find a way to get the truth out. And I thought about that's the Gonzalo guy, or Coach Red Pill, the Coach Red Pill guy. I know he was in Ukraine. I think he was in Kharkov. I thought, well, I'll look this guy up and see what he's up to, because I've looked up a lot of them, and they were doing propaganda for the West. Let's see what this clown's doing. And they were fleeing the Russian invasion, and oh, this is terrible, poor little plucky Ukraine. And some of them just went full retard on it. Let's see what Coach Redpill's doing, and see if he's still there, see if he fled, and see what he has to say. And I looked it up, and I just happened to open it up right after he posted the video where he's running around in the street of Kyiv, and you could tell he's shook up. And he's discovered that we're being lied to about this whole thing. He's amazed, and he's amazed at how stupid the Kyiv regime was. That was he was mentioning, it was right after they handed weapons out to people on the street. And of course, criminals ended up with all of them, started having shoot-ups against, robbing places and shooting up other criminals. Lovely. And he was telling the truth about it. Well, hats off to you, Mr. Red Pill. I see you got woke. Had a red pill moment, didn't he? And I wrote a few articles about that and took that angle. And, I put them on Telegram with my circle of friends there. And some of my friends are pretty influential. And then, that evening it was in the news, the same angle about the same guy. Maybe it was a coincidence, but it got people's attention. And he's continued to tell the truth ever since, and he's darn good at it. So he's a real smart fella. He's highly educated. He got himself in a situation where he had to go through the fire, and that purifies. Some people get in situations because of their own bumblefuckery, like me, or sense of adventure, or trying to avoid being told what to do and pinned down in the system, and they wind up just going through hell. And you don't give up. You stay with it, and you stick to your principles, and it purifies you. Some people never do anything because they like comfort, and they don't get purified. They get ossified. They turn into a hardened pile of stink, and they never change, and you can't reach them, you can't get to them. I don't feel sorry for them. I feel lucky. Anyway, I think old Coach Red Pill got purified quite a bit. He got some persecution. I don't know what kind of stuff he had to put up with, but he's been putting out good videos ever since. Now, I'd keep an eye on him, but it's been good, I think. And I put the link to his latest in here. It is good, because he understands it. He gets it. The U.S. is totally screwing their allies. Not really our allies. They have puppets in their countries running things. Puppets of the international criminal oligarchy. The Italians elected somebody that the cabal doesn't like. That's nice. Only the Italians, though. She's kind of the Italian Trump. I think she's pretty mild compared to Trump, but she's getting it. That's the evidence right there. When they go after them, they want them out. They don't want them in there. I think Le Pen is legit, but she keeps getting election taken from her. I think it's stolen because, when these people get elected, they just steal it anyway, or they give them so much opposition they can't do anything. So it's, we know about elections not going like they're supposed to, don't we? I followed Le Pen for a long time. I think she's legit, and I talked to one of her chief advisors at length when I was in Moscow. He's a great guy, speaks pretty good English. But what's going to happen next? I got to keep this short, or it'll take all night to download or upload. I get those confused. I'm going to post two links. They're both kind of lengthy. They're lengthy links, but Gonzalo, that's a good one about what's going on with the gas in Europe. What to expect. It's going to make your gas expensive if we have to sell it to Europe. It's going to really screw them. I guess poor people can freeze, but that's okay. It's all part of the Great Reset. And they can pressure people into getting into these subscriptions where, You have to go by community guidelines to access your money so you can get heat. It's all part of a plan. I'm going to post another link about exactly what's going on. I'm gonna put that in a different video. I'm going to put 2 links in here, but both of them are really good. Redacted, that's a good show. It's a live one. If you're pressed for time, just started at I think about the 45-minute mark would be good. But we're going to address some more things in my next video about the referendum and what's being said, and about the Russian troop movements and the Russian draft. Yeah, well, the redacted video, they do a good job with that. I mean, you can't beat these people. They're just great. I defer to them. Watch them. I know you like Bildy to tell you stuff, and Bildy will tell you stuff. So Bildy can't do anything else. Anyway, I'm going to shut this off, and I'll make another one and continue with the same subject. You know you like it. Bildy signing out.